Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, for calling this critically important hearing today. I also do want to thank all of our witnesses, and especially Audra Hammernick from Nevada Hand, for all the great work that you and your team do to provide roofs for many of my constituents every single day. Unfortunately, the problem that we face today is too great for housing advocates like yourself to confront alone. Rental rates in Las Vegas have increased by almost 30% in the last year. And if that's not shocking enough, they are increasing at a time when our local economy has still not recovered for everyone equitably. The hospitality industry, the main driver of our economy, is still not at pre-pandemic levels. 7 out of 10 of the most common jobs in Las Vegas do not pay enough to rent a studio apartment. 70% of hospitality workers, culinary workers, bartenders, and servers cannot even rent a place of their own, let alone achieve the American dream of home ownership. Workers like my constituent Linda, a single mother of 3, who lost everything in an unexpected and devastating fire. Her family had been living in their rental home for nearly a decade and paid $1,650 a month in rent. Now, through no fault of her own, they can barely find a place to live at any price. Linda and my constituents deserve better. But unfortunately, we have out-of-state corporate investors who have been outbidding Nevadans everywhere they look. The share of 2021 home purchases by investors in select zip codes in my district range from 2% in one zip code to 26% of the homes owned by these out-of-state corporate investors. And this zip code, 89032 and 89031, is the community that I grew up in. It's a predominantly Black and Latino and immigrant zip code, and it is represented by a large percent of single moms who are raising their kids. This graph shows the instance of the share of the purchase homes bought by these investors. The darker the color, the worse the impact. And it's predominantly in North Las Vegas. I represent a very diverse district, but you see in the suburbs, they didn't go buy those communities. They came and targeted communities of color. And instead, homes all across my district are being taken off the market to pad the pockets of wealthy hedge funds. This is alarming on its own, but the recent reports that institutional investors have targeted these neighborhoods of color and have also targeted them during eviction processes over this period is also very alarming. My constituents won't stand for it, and I won't either. That's why today I'm introducing the Housing Oversight and Mitigating Exploitation Act, also called the HOME Act, to fight back. We must empower HUD to investigate just how these investors have been impacting communities of color and to ensure that we have a level playing field in the housing market. The HOME Act will make sure that the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development can monitor unfair competitive practices, support market transparency, and determine whether these investors are engaging in anti-competitive behaviors. And if they are, they will be fined, and those funds will be deposited into the National Housing Trust Fund so that we can continue to develop more affordable housing. Now, the HOME Act will be a great start to bring prices down now, but we need to look forward to solutions that will keep people housed for years to come. Ms. Hammernick, would you be able to highlight how necessary it is that Nevada Hand can leverage federal investments like the low-income housing tax credit to incentivize construction and discuss the ways in which formula funding for federal rental assistance actually holds back communities like Las Vegas that are high growth?
Yeah, you know, the federal funding for housing choice vouchers that go to the housing authorities is really based on what they received last year. And for high growth areas like Nevada, Phoenix is some city near us that's having similar issues. Our growth has outpaced by far the number of vouchers that we received. And when you look at the numbers, it's absolutely crazy. So we have homeless issues in Las Vegas. If we had more vouchers, we could do permanent supportive housing that use project-based vouchers. We had Congressman Chu talk about this a few minutes ago. So the voucher issue is a really big deal. And we talk about using vouchers in the normal marketplace to help people and families be stabilized. We're really missing the mark in high growth areas in the country with this formula the way it is right now. And then for your other question regarding LIHTC, of course, we need LIHTC to be able to build the multifamily affordable rentals.
I appreciate
the gentleman.
your leadership, Chairman.